Hello, this is John from caveofprogramming.com. In this tutorial, we're going to finally do a query with our database connection pool. And I would say we've done a lot of slightly confusing stuff so far. Well, we've configured this connection pool down here somewhere. Here it is. And we passed it to the offers DAO. And we're going to use this jdbc template now that uses this data source. If you feel at all lost, I'd totally recommend typing this out for yourself, because I find that only typing it out will get this stuff into my head, and often you can feel like you totally don't understand what's going on, but when you just type it yourself and you get it to work, then it just somehow makes a whole lot more sense than it did previously. Because what we're going to do in this tutorial is going to seem a little bit complicated, and it's not really. It's just that you probably won't fully understand it until you type it out and see how it works. At least if your knowledge of things like anonymous classes in Java is a little shaky. And if it is, you can check out my free beginners course. No shame in that, because we are going to be using anonymous classes here. And so we're going to build another kind of little bit of level of complication if your core Java is not absolutely solid. And as I say, I totally recommend typing this yourself. Okay, so let's get on. And I'm going to use a class from this jdbc template, which is called jdbc, which is called query. Well, I'm going to use a method called query of this jdbc template class. And that will return a list of my offer objects, one for each row in my database. So let's type here, return jdbc. That's the name I gave to my template here. Dot query. And jdbc, of course, is Java Database Connection standard stuff. So, and I'm going to use the version of query that takes some SQL and a thing called a row mapper, like that. Let's put the semicolon in there. Now for SQL, I'm going to type select star from offers. So I'm just selecting everything from my offers table using this standard bit of SQL. And I'm going to create an anonymous row mapper class. You could do this differently, of course, but it's quite convenient to use an anonymous class here. I'm going to say new row mapper. Row mapper is an interface type, but I can supply implementation by putting in curly parentheses here. And let's click this error and go to, I missed something off here, I think, but I'm not sure what. Let's just save that. And I need to make sure I've imported row mapper. It's not giving me the option to do the import for some reason. I can't really see anything wrong with this. Let's just get rid of the return method for the moment and put return null down here for the moment. See if that helps. I think I've got all the brackets in the right place. I'll just save that, and now we can go to import row mapper. I think Eclipse was just a bit confused by this doing an import with an anonymous class and returning it all at the same time. Let's click the error again and go to add unimplemented methods. But actually, before I do that, row mapper is actually a generic interface, meaning I can supply the type of thing in here that it's going to work with, the type of class. So in the diamond operator brackets here after the name of the class, I'm going to type offer. And offer, hopefully you'll recall, is my bean that stores one row at a time in the database, and it also has this toString method. So now I can click and go to add unimplemented method, and it will create a method for me called mapRow that returns an offer object, and a result set is passed into offer along with a row num. If you've done any JDBC before, you'll be familiar with result set. This is where your results will be actually returned from your query, and my query is here. And at the end of this method, where are we? At the end of this anonymous method, I want to return a single offer object, and this method as a whole is going to return a list of offer objects. So I'm going to say, just let's put it back how it was to start with. Return jdbc query, like that. So I'm going to return from this method getOffers a list of offer objects, which will be got by doing this query using my jdbc template class. Now in this map row method, the function of this is to map a jdbc result set to a single offer object. So let's delete the stuff in this method, and I'm going to say offer equals new offer. And offer, I must emphasize, this is just a bean class that I created myself. So you need to create a bean class that can store the results of your query one row at a time. And I'm just going to return it here, return offer. And now we just need to get the information from this result set and use it to set the properties of this offer object. So I'm going to say offer dot set ID, and in there I'm going to do result set rs dot get int, because ID is an int, and we're going to give this a name ID. So I'm just using this result set here to get a value which I'm supplying to offer.setID. Let's do offer.setName, because it's also got a name value, and I'm going to use rs.getString for that, get string, and supply it with the column name, which is name. So these have to match your column names, otherwise this is not going to work. Let's just copy that, because I've got two more strings to set in this particular case, and I'm going to do set text and set email, and my columns in my database are called text and email, and it's really important to check this stuff, because otherwise it's not going to work properly. But here we can see I've got a ID, name, email and text columns. You need to get the types right, like string will correspond to varchar and int to int, of course. So now I just need to, hopefully that should work, I just need to debug this getOffers method now, and which is using this query method, and it's mapping each row into an offer object and returning a list of offers. So let's go to my main application here, and I previously got this robot being defined. I'm going to just delete that from the project, so I'm not going to use it anymore. And if I look at offers DAO, I've said that that's a component. Let's give it the ID offers DAO, just to be doubly sure that about what the ID is, although it will get that, I suppose, by default anyway. And in my app here, I'm going to get the bean offers DAO. Let's call it offers DAO. And the type of it is offers DAO, capital O of course, because it's a Java class. Oh yeah, and I gave it capital DAO letters, which probably I shouldn't have done really, but it's okay. And let's save all that, and it's got a method called get offers, and that returns a list of offers. So I'm going to say here list of offers equals, and let's add the import for list, Java util list, and finally let's just loop through that with an enhanced for loop and say for offer in offers, and let's just do a sysout, and the sysout should work because I gave the offer object a toString method. This is the moment of truth. This is when I find out I have to redo the past like 3 or 4 tutorials because I got something wrong earlier on. But hopefully it works. And let's run this. It seems to work. Actually, let's just make sure that I'm really running the right program, because I have got a test program as well. Yeah, I'm running the wrong one. Let's run the right one. And oh yes, success! I'm very happy. So we're getting rows from the database, mapping them to offer objects, and we're displaying them right here, and there we go. Query seems to have succeeded. Don't be shocked or surprised if at this point your program doesn't work, because it's very easy to get something wrong if you've just if you haven't configured, for example, this bean correctly with all the right properties, with the exact right capitalization of the properties, or let's say you've specified properties here which like again the capitalization or the spelling or something doesn't match precisely what you've got in your property file. then it won't work. And just have a look at it, and if it doesn't work, make sure everything matches that should match. And if you still can't get it to work, I'd recommend kind of winding back a step. Put in some debug. Try maybe changing this to a class you've written yourself that has methods with these that has these properties, and check that you're getting what you expect for these values. Or you could try. I don't know, like, I'm running out of suggestions actually. I just kind of want to say that if this didn't work, I'd fiddle with it for probably a day, and because I know that there would be some I that I've not dotted or T that I've not crossed, and you have to be a little bit persistent fiddling with this, trying to get it to work. And then finally, if after an hour or two or maybe a whole day it still didn't work, what I'd do is I'd start doing stuff like write my own class here to make sure I am getting the exact right properties that I think I am there, and stuff like that. And obviously make sure you can connect to your database, because if your database isn't running, it won't work either. So a little patience and persistence can be necessary. It's very easy to get something wrong. Another thing you can do is instead of setting these into your offer DAO, just print them out with a sysout here at this point, and then look in the console to see what you're getting back from this result set, instead of messing about with an offer object. Just display these directly, stuff like that, and eventually you'll get to the bottom of it. So that's it for this tutorial, and we're going to go on to looking at doing updates and stuff like that. But I have to say I'm very pleased that worked, because I wasn't sure that it would, because it's very easy to make a mistake with this stuff. So don't be downhearted if you did make a little mistake and it doesn't work, because you'll get there in the end with a bit of persistence. So until next time, happy coding.